around a moratorium has been placed on the issuance of licenses. Some of the unlicensed radio stations listed by the LTA include LBS, Metro FM, and the Language FM, Ministry of Education Radio, Freedom FM, OCM Radio, Quartica FM, and Shatter FM.
We have those that receive frequencies from us, but just pretty much refuse to pay for the use of the frequency. Remember, this is pretty much like connecting to LEC and refusing to pay. Lux FM, BKS Foundation, High Adventure Ministry Incorporated, Sky Communications, Banjo Broadcast, Citizen Radio, Good News Bible Church, Destiny FM, KABS, Freedom FM, Power FM, Kings FM, Radio Alphala, LBS, our own OKFM, Liberia Web Radio, Hot FM, Capital FM, Prime FM, Rare Power FM, Restoration Radio.
Of course, they mentioned LBS there, and so we have in studios now to discuss some of these, to set the record straight. We have the Director General of LBS, Honorable Eugene Foghorn. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Hassan, and thank you to your hard-working crew. And let me say good morning to the peace-loving people of the Republic of Liberia, and good morning to my own, of course, you are the Deputy Hassan Kawu for Media Services, but today you're being faced by the Deputy for Administration, Mr. Thomas Gore, along with myself. Let me send out greetings and shout-outs to all of our hard-working employees of the system, whether you are in television or radio, or if you are out there taking care of the yard right now or cleaning in our buildings. We are a system, and we pride ourselves in the honor of all of our employees, because if one fails to function, then the system collapses. The system will collapse. And so as I stand right now, I have the honor to say that all of our people, including yourself, were working diligently hard, and I want to appreciate everybody this morning that are working, that have been working for the system, that is working for the system, and those that will be hired shortly to work for the system. I just want to appreciate everybody.
So let's welcome also Mr. Thomas Gore. I've already introduced you, but say a few words. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much, colleague. I am kind of very highly delighted this morning, looking at you guys, looking at other colleagues in the studio. I like the team spirit, the kind of togetherness that we now see at LBS. Look at how we are dressed casually on a Friday. We come, with the intention of contributing in every way, even if it means working with our janitors to do some cleaning and all of that. We are not proud. So that teamwork is very good. And I'm just happy being with everyone here this morning. And I want to extend our thanks and appreciation to our employees and all of those who are helping to make this place, a success.
And you couldn't have said it better. Teamwork makes the dream work, because we're all working together.
Exactly.
So the issue now we're all talking about is the LTA's pronouncement yesterday at a news conference. And in fact, you heard Abdullah Kamara, when he got to LBS, he said, and he started laughing. Somebody said, our own LBS. And you heard, everybody said, huh? Or so on. So you are here this morning to set the record straight, clarify things. What's your position? What's your initial reaction when you heard it?
Well, it didn't come as a surprise, because it's been coming. But we've been too busy trying to reorganize, to repair the system, to maintain the system. For almost 5 months, the budget had not passed, and we had to keep all of our things going. So we were more or less focused on some of our achievements today that people are lauding us for, including yourself, not because you're behind the microphone. Everywhere you go, people are talking about LBS and the changes, and that's the revolution that's taking place here. So we've been focused, and I said it's been coming, because I listened to him one time, Abdullah, my brother, saying how he's going to try to bring television to the country and throughout the counties, and as in keeping with the president's mandate. And I laugh because it's like my brother is not reading the act that established the LTA, and he's not reading the act that established the Liberian broadcasting system.
But if he didn't read his own code, act, how would he have even read the LBS?
And so the reason why I say so, and he said our own LBS, Hassan, let's take common sense before we go into the documents here before us, because we brought evidence to prove what we are about to argue and say here today and present to the Liberian people. You are only 17 years old. Your act establishing you was done in 2007. We came into being in 1956. We're almost 70 years old. Are you able to grant us license? Were you the one that granted us the license? You're just 17 years old, 2007. You were nowhere around in 1958 to have enabled you to have granted us license. And that's why you said there's no records on your sheet.
Yep.
Because you cannot produce that record. You were nowhere around. And so to announce to the country that we somehow are not in compliance, we are a state-owned media. We were established in 1956. You did not give us license. You are an authority on telecommunications, but we were there before you. We are more of an authority on this subject matter by virtue of the law
that created
us. And we will prove that, because we'll not be talking. We'll be reading from the law, and we'll be seeking. To say this, you say, how do you feel about it? I felt, and I'm sure many of us at LBS felt disrespected, that we are two institutions. For God in heaven's sake, did you contact us? Did you have a meeting with us before listing us? What was the intent? Was it to bring us into disrepute? But what did we do when we found out that you were not treating us right and you were not doing things by the book? What did we do as a responsible institution that is 68 years old? We wrote you a letter asking you for an acquaintance. We have not even gotten a reply from you, but we were paid a visit by Patrick Honor. We had a little brief discussion in the presence of the minister. And I think that's what good leaders do. Yeah. That's what a perfect management team will do. That's what people working in the interest of the government, G to G, government to government, will do. But to list us as people that are not in compliance with your licensure, I mean, come on, you should have talked to us. We would have provided you the education and the evidence. So I will allow you to do your thing behind the microphone and ask us the questions. We will answer, and then we will leave from here with a parting comment to the LTA.
So, Tom, what was your initial reaction? Because something, it surprised everyone. Like you said, it's something of sort, would happen. I think it's only necessary and fair to call your partner, government to government, and say, look, what is this that I'm seeing in my books that your name is not there, but you are supposed to be doing this or so? What was your reaction?
I would say I wasn't surprised at what they have done, or I am not, but the surprising part is that the way it was done. All right, I think that obviously there is a smear campaign by Abdullahi Kamara and others after we raised the concern about certain institutions, government, and even other private entities that are using our facilities. They have equipments on our towers, and they are either paying nothing, little or nothing at all. So we came in, we're trying to revamp the system, right? We're trying to make sure that under the laws, we are responsible for 40% of our operational funds. So we have to generate those funds. So we are making sure that we do everything we can to meet, our side of the contribution, and then the government provides the other 60%. But we are not just fighting merely to get the 40%, but we're trying to see how we can even make this place a viable, a much more viable institution that can even possibly in the future stand on its own, right?
Yeah.
So we started, digging into all of these stuff, checking areas. We're trying to identify, where we can generate additional revenues.
Yeah.
We're trying to basically diversify our revenue, right? We want to, for example, monetize social media stuff. We want to look at all these towers. What do we have on there? Are we getting the fair share of our, of our are we getting the fair share of what is supposed to be given us? So we have identified a lot of stuff which we don't want to go into, because being mature, we don't want to start calling names of institutions, right?
Yeah, of course.
And then so we've reached out to them professionally, like we did to the LTA.
But that's how it's supposed to be.
Right. And so they had I think 2 or 3 representatives that came, including Patrick Honor, and we had this very amicable discussion, and we defer it to later discussion. But then and that is why I say I see it as a way of he trying to jump ahead and just create a smell campaign. I don't know what that is actually intended for, but he really got it wrong. And I wouldn't take guys like Abdullah Kamara seriously, because there are a lot of issues I will mention here, but just one of them is the University of Liberia, right? I don't know if you heard about this online platform that is used at the university. I'm somebody who has background in IT background. I'm a software engineer as well. So there is this online platform that is at the university. It's a free open source software called Moodle. Moodle is an open source software. And this guy sold it to the University of Liberia for hundreds of thousands. But, we should not go too much into digging into people's character, but I wouldn't take him seriously. And that is why when these things started to come out, I was like, he should not even be ahead of such a thing, because he doesn't have that integrity to be able to come after us on issues like this. But then going beyond that, we come right back to the law, right? Here's our law right before us. We have the powers under the law to be able to do a lot of stuff. And we will go into all of that and then, dig into the nitty-gritty of the issues.
Thank you, Dan. That's Thomas Gore. He's the Deputy for Administration. Of course, you heard his background. He's very smart on things in research. In fact, he's our key researcher here. So let's go back to the Director General and look at some of these things. He has said this, and you are saying you want to set the record straight. Of course, it's not saying the right thing. What's your reliance?
My reliance is simple. First and foremost, the Liberian people know me for facts versus fiction. The fiction here is the LTA boss wants people to believe that he's the authority on television and radio, and he has the power over LBS. And I want to say to him, you need to read the act. You are only 17 years old. We are 68 years old. We are older than you as a person. We're older than you as an institution. We were operating before you were born. We were operating before you were established. So, but that is not our argument. We're just trying to put you in the position of thought where you can think and think again. I have the act of the LTA before me right here on my laptop. And Section 11, the 2007 Act that established that institution, says that they have the power, and it says, let me read it verbatim, functions and operation of the authority. 1, the LTA shall have the capacity and responsibility under the Act to advise the minister on policy for the telecommunications sector. That is the Minister of Post and Telecommunication. B, implement the Act, the regulations, and all other elements of the legal and regulatory framework for the telecommunications sector. Regulatory framework. didn't tell you to come and build television stations here. It didn't tell you to come and tell us how we can run a semi-autonomous agency of government that is 68 years old. C, and this is where I want you to take, and I'm going to stop there. Issue individual,
Right.
and class licenses, including licenses for international telecommunications facilities and services, and design and implement the processes for issuing such license. So let's start with the three categories.
Yep.
One, issue the individual.
Yes.
Those, I served as deputy minister for 3.5 years at the Ministry of Information, so I know the processes. Individual is the first category. The second category is the class. Like you got religious radio stations, then you got community radio stations, right?
Yeah.
The class licenses. And then the third one is licenses for international telecommunications facilities and services. In which one of those categories do we fit? Zilch, zero.
LBA doesn't fit in because I mean you've already named the three classes.
Thank you.
LBA is not even part of that.
Now, D, they will monitor and enforce compliance by licensees, the three category, right?
Yep.
With the conditions of their licenses. What this says is that the people you gave those licenses to, the licenses, the individual, the class,
And the
or the international, you will what? You will monitor, enforce compliance by licensee with the conditions of their licenses, the condition under which you gave it to them, whether as an individual or class or what, or an international body. Where do we fit? Nowhere. It says that you will amend, modify, suspend, or revoke licenses in accordance with the act and regulation. Know your own act before you come to discuss with us here at LBS. Besides what we do here, we're intellectuals. Now, if you come to LBS, it says that LBS shall have the power. So let's start with one. One, to engage in the business of broadcasting, transmitting, relaying, and distributing, whether audible or visual, by means of radio and television, broadcasting apparatus, or any other device or devices, machinery, or equipment whatsoever, whether by wireless, telegraph, wire system, cable, or by other means. And to what?
Develop
Go ahead, Thomas.
radio and television broadcasting industry, a key word in Liberia.
So that even
Industry.
Yeah, so that even tells us that even if we want to go digital,
Yes,
that also because it meant wireless.
Yeah.
of course.
And then by any other means.
By any other means.
By any
But
other means.
means so to develop the radio and television broadcasting industry
Yeah.
in Liberia. This is law. So this is not our opinion.
So this LBS is solely responsible for it. It is the
Radio
job of
television in this
television,
country.
yeah.
Right.
Yes.
That's what it's saying
Even
right there.
if you go to 2 functions and authority of the LBS, number 2, to equip, maintain, and operate broadcasting and receiving stations with an S.
Yeah.
We got 3 radio stations, 1 television, right?
Yes.
Stations with an S. National or international. And any connections between such stations and wire system for the relaying and distribution of broadcasting programs. To transmit, send. I don't even want to go. It's too many that we are supposed to do by law. I will take you to number 4.
Right.
I'll let you do number 4.
Yeah. So
This
number
is by
4,
law.
yeah.
A law that is older than their law.
Yes.
By far.
Number 4 says to provide establish. Now, establish the key word right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
Construct,
Mhm.
equip, operate, maintain, or manage wireless telegraph stations,
Yeah.
recording rooms,
Yeah.
studies offices, and other buildings, plant, equipment, works, apparatus of every kind require or used for the purposes of and in connection with or ancillary to the preparation, production, presentation, or recording of such programs or materials thereof,
Or
or
the
the transmission, broadcasting, relay, or distribution thereof,
whether
You see?
by
wireless telegraphy, wire
wire systems,
systems,
cable, or other
means.
means.
So you see
This is the law.
So LBA has a much wider
We-
scope
that we've not even
we don't
we
tap
have not
into.
tapped
We're not
into,
tapping
right?
into.
You see,
And we're not tapping into it because some of you are what 2-3 months old now on the job.
Yeah.
I'm like 4 or I got 90 days. The
Right.
22nd
Yeah,
tomorrow will make me
Right.
90 days here.
Right.
90 days. And you guys are like 60 days today.
right,
yeah.
right.
But we know what we are doing here.
Yeah.
And let me say this. When I look at them, any material you want to bring in the country is by LTA. Thomas, could you read number 6?
Number six says to buy. We're talking about the powers
Yeah, powers.
of
Yeah,
LBS.
yeah.
Of LBS.
Yeah.
To buy,
Mhm.
input,
Yes, sir.
or otherwise acquire,
Yes, sir.
manufacturer or assemble,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Sell, let, or
Hire.
okay, or hire, or otherwise deal in apparatus for receiving
Yes.
or reproducing programs or broadcast transmitted,
Yep.
relayed, or distributed,
Yes.
whether by wireless telegraph, wire
system.
systems, distributed, whether by wireless telegraph, right? Okay, yeah, cable, or by other means, right? Or recorded programs, accessories, spare parts,
Yes.
hmm?
Yes.
for and other equipment for use in connection with any such apparatus, and to install or maintain
Yes.
or undertake or arrange
to what
to
install.
install
Yes.
And
or
maintain.
maintain
Yes.
or undertake
Oh,
or
yes.
arrange
Or-
for the installation or maintenance of any such apparatus, okay, or in any service in line or other like accessories or equipment thereof, and generally to carry out on
Or-
all or any of the business of manufacturing or
Dealing.
dealing in supplying or
Or
maintaining,
maintaining. Or
okay, or
contracting
contracting the installation, supply, maintenance, or servicing
such apparatus, accessories,
Accessories and
and
equipment.
equipments.
So
you see?
yes. So I see. I mean, there are some key words in there. It says to arrange,
Yep.
to maintain.
Mhm.
Yes.
I mean,
To manufacture.
Yeah, to manufacture,
Yes.
to assemble,
To assemble.
or even establish. We can contract. We
Yes,
can do a
yes,
whole lot of
yes,
things.
yes.
But look at number 7 right there, right? It says to represent the government
Government's
interest
interest
in national and international broadcasting or radio conferences or
and
activities.
activities.
So
We are
LBA
68 years old.
Yeah, so
God
if
in
you-
heaven's sake.
you
And you
see
want
that?
to bring us to public ridicule?
Yeah, now, so let me get into the mind of Abdullah Kamal, so to speak. One would think that probably he's speaking from a point, maybe the laws have been repealed. Has there been any repeal or this law?
No
Not at
repeal.
all.
And that's why we are working. You are aware. You were in the meeting when we had the meeting with Internews
Yes.
and the other people on working on a new act that is going to see us become a public broadcasting system. We're open to that. We're invited by the lower house, the House of Representatives. Mr. Abu Kamara invited us, Bernard Benson
Yeah.
invited us. We're supposed to go there. They're trying to arrange another date for us, and hopefully we will appear before the Senate to chip in what we can with regard to this new law. But as it stands, this is an existing law. This is what we're standing on, our age. But like I said, what puzzled me is that we came here. We saw LTA put people on our premises. They put stuff on our towers. We even take care of the engineers that they brought here through KNet. They have the facilities and everything here. But we do not and have never earned a dime from them. When we took over, we did not even put the engineers out. We did not make a quarrel with them.
Let alone put the equipment out.
Right. Or
What
even
did we
stop
do?
its operation. They are
What
all
did we do?
operational.
We have the power.
Okay.
But we put them and say, look, we see a lot of things going on. We know a lot of things now than we knew before. We are a new crop of officers. We like to have an acquaintance with you. I think government to government, they should have engaged us to say, we think you're not in compliance.
Yes.
And then we would have said to them, how can we be in compliance with you when you did not issue our license? You're just 17 years old. We're 68. You were established by law 2007.
Yeah.
And just to go back, you weren't even close to what established us.
Yeah.
You're not close to the powers that we have. Don't do that. Put the people you give licenses to out there. Don't bring us into public disrepute. We are the nation's station. We are the state media. We are the Liberian people expenses. They own us.
Yes, of course.
We are not owned by individuals. They by law establish you, and you ought to respect them and not bring them into public disrepute. We would have had a control conversation with them. And to see you trying to put us out there, we are out now. We're ready for the debate. And I will hope that in the coming days that they will remove the LBS from their list.
So you are demanding them to remove LBS from the list.
I am demanding that they remove LBS from the list.
So now, in case they don't budge your demands, they don't remove LBS, what course of action?
Well, there are several options available to us.
Okay.
We were appointed by the President of the Republic of Liberia. They came into the media airspace, right?
Yep.
They put us into disrepute. We have defended ourselves. We've asked them to remove us from that list in the open. Remember, they didn't write us. We wrote them for an acquaintance. We asked for a meeting. We have not gotten a response. That's how mature we are. And we think in retaliation, they try to bring us into public disrepute. So we own the microphone. We own the airwaves in this country, television and radio. And by bragging rights, we have 89.9 FM, which is the metro radio station.
Yeah.
It's fully functional as we speak. We have 97.7, is the language radio station. It's fully functional. We are on 99.9, and we own and operate LNTV. We are asking them not to ever attempt to take us to the media space because they do not have the capacity and what it takes to control the airwaves. We do. But we did not go to the airwaves. We engaged them respectfully. We engaged them knowing that they were our partners and a part of this government. And so for them to have gone to the airwaves to bring us into public disrepute is unacceptable. We're asking them to remove us from that list because they were established in 2007. They could not have granted us our license. And we're 68 years old, they're only 17. And the law, the act that created them did not give them the powers. Neither did it instruct them to put us into disrepute. We're asking them to remove us from the list. And we will take advantage of the options available to us when the time is ripe.
So what are some of the options? Do you care to tell us some of the options?
We work for a president, Hassan. They were appointed by the president. We were appointed by the president. One would say, why didn't you leave it and just go to the president? No, they brought us into the airwaves. So we have to fight in the airwaves. But our fight is not to go against them. It's to advise them to take us from the list, to go against what they told the public, that they are responsible for television. By law, we are. That they are responsible to do this. By law, we are. But we're not fighting that. What we're telling them is, you were just established yesterday. You could not have given us a license. You were only 17 years old. We're 68. The law that created you must have not told you that LBS is not a playground. It's a place of media engagements, of business. It's a place meant to bring about integration, preach peace, development, make sure reconciliation is key, make sure we're able to educate our people, enlighten them, entertain them, and do a whole host of things. And that's why we are on course to achieving our goal as a public broadcast system to be.
So if they decide, okay, based on what you've said, and then they've seen the truth, and they decide that, okay, we'll remove you from the list, how would you want this done? Would you want them to go on the same platform they announced it, or publicly, or they can do it quietly? Which one would you prefer?
Either ways, whether publicly or privately, we need to be removed from that list. Whether they just call us by telephone and say, you're off the list, doesn't matter. Take us off that list. We are a reputable institution. We are in compliance, and we know the act that established us. We know what we're supposed to do. We know that we're supposed to represent the government's interests in national and international broadcasting as enshrined in this act before me. We know that we're in charge of television. We're in charge of radio. We know we're capable of buying, manufacturing.
Yeah.
We know we're capable of doing business. We know everything we're supposed to do.
Including distributing.
Of course. And we know when we got to LBS, what was uncovered. And Patrick Horner knows. He sat in the meeting. And Jerry Limerick Pierre knows. He sat in the meeting. But we did not come to the public. We're not coming to the public. Don't push us. We know too much. But we acquired because it's G to G. Government to government. The only reason why I'm in the studio, along with Brother Thomas Gore, the deputy for administration, is because we were put in the public glare.
Of course.
We were brought onto the airwaves. Since I took over here, I've not been in this studio. I've not been in 97. I've not been in 87.7.
Except for to visit or tour.
You are telling us about a frequency 89.9. You and I know we were at the university. FM 89.9
right.
Coming to you from Painesville.
Look at it right at the back here.
Yes.
Right up back of the building, yeah.
You were nowhere around. You were not even established or created. Come on. When we used to hear Martin Brown on 89.9, okay? Split, Vamoose, Oli, Mordecai, Oli. And don't forget to say goodbye before you leave. Goodbye. Where were you? And now you're telling us you assigned that frequency was unassigned to LBS? Who owned it? Who the Liberian people know FM 89.9 to own?
Nobody else but LBS.
Yeah. So to be listing us and trying to bring us into public disrepute is unacceptable. And as Director General of this system, with all of my able employees, from the janitors up to the person at the top, including myself, we take offense to that, and we're asking them to delist us immediately.
One school of thought will say, okay, it's one thing to say, okay, they might be adamant to say, well, you know what, we're not going to do that because you've already come on the air, you've said this or so. But then another school of thought will say, instead of just sitting down, maybe they might want to react as well. They react in similar manner. And even though they've brought LBS out in the public glare, they want to react in similar manner or so.
We will not follow that path.
Okay.
Then we will take the appropriate course of action. We were appointed by a president, and they were appointed by the president. We will take our case to the president. One will argue, why didn't you go straight to the president? No, they brought us into public disrepute.
Of course.
And we have to respond in that realm.
Right.
And now that we have responded, if they decide to go ahead, we will then go to the president with the evidence and with a complaint. And if they continue on the basis of tenure, then there are other actions we can take as the state-owned broadcasting. That powers is also given to us in this act, and we'll take the appropriate course of action legally.
So, Tom, you've listened to the DG. DG has stressed. I mean, you've stressed almost similar thing. Doesn't that bother you when you are working so hard, especially you've come and met a broken institution
system? You're trying to revamp it,
put systems in place.
Right.
And all of a sudden, another colleague of yours, say LTS such as that, seeing your work instead of working together, saying stuff to bring you down, or to bring you down.
Right.
Doesn't that worry you?
But well, that's the thing, and that is why we are here, especially try to bring us down at a time that we have identified an issue that you are involved in, right? And then you want to go around, turn it around, change the story around, and try to paint us black, right? But now it's out there. The public can see it. LBA has an act. They can go and do their research. It's online. You can Google it. You can also Google the act that established the LTA, and then you do the reading and again and get the facts. Do your comparison, and you get to know.
And when the director general read the act establishing LTA and the one establishing LBS and what their function,
Right.
There's nowhere the cross path.
No.
Nowhere the cross path to say, okay, there is one element in one act, and there's similar element in that they are quite different.
Different, yeah.
So I'm thinking, so how in the world did they even come to that conclusion that LBS should be falling under them? They should be licensing LBS.
Well, I don't know. What I do know is that we wrote for an acquaintance meeting. And like Thomas said, we know a lot now. We know a lot of bad things that happen. We're not prepared to go into details. Instead of receiving a response to the letter we wrote, we got a visit from Commissioner Honor. And we had a frank discussion in the presence of the Minister of Information, who's also, by the way, the chairman of the board. And I could tell he himself was stunned. But we have not gone to the public. When we took over, we met people in our backyard, sleeping in our buildings, operating on our premises. At whose instruction? The LTA. But we didn't take to the public. We didn't put them in disrepute. We wrote, hey, let's have a sit down. We didn't get a response. They rushed here quickly with, I'm not going to go into detail, but hey, you're going to go out there and while listing stations that is not in compliance, and then you say, and our own. If you knew we were your own, then how come you did not contact us?
Yeah.
Then treat us like your own.
And making light of it too.
And making light of it in the public. We take exception to it. We take offense to it. And let me show you when I just said this to you, okay? I said, I had something to say with respect to what the Director General could do through the Liberian broadcasting system. You asked me a question, and I said it had something to do with just a minute. I just wanted to make the point of where it had to do with the Director General and having that decision to determine. And number 14, number 14, the powers and authority of the LBS. Number 14, to take any and all actions determined by the Director General to be necessary or desirable in making, carrying out, servicing, compromising, liquidating, or otherwise dealing with or realizing any transaction or operation authorized under this decree.
So there's a whole host of actions that are available to you.
Yes, and that's why I'm asking them to delist us. Because here, LBS does not only have the power and authority, the Director General does have powers under this act, under this law. And I don't intend to use it. The most effective and the most full power is the one you have not used. And we do not intend to use it. It's government to government. We have respect for them, but they've put us into disrepute, and it's unacceptable. They should delist us immediately.
So, but then one of the things you said that you don't want, I mean, it doesn't matter whether they bring it, they delist you and announce it in public or not. But then the public would like to do that, because if you and they announce this in the public and you are reacting in the public, then the public may want to know whether they've done it and how soon they've done it, instead of just quietly doing it. I mean, you are opting for whichever way they do it, as long as we are delisted. But the public might want to say, look, let them do it in the public the same way. Why would you smear somebody in the public? And so you're coming back doing it quietly. You should apologize in the public too for smearing somebody's character.
Right. And I was just going through a lot of stuff here, and one of them, if I bring out, it would even call the LTA into question. 15. So under 15, it even talks about us having the right to sell, or even assign
Mhm.
licenses. All right, patents and a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
So if you read there, that even call their allegation right now into question that, hey, LBS.
I think you should go ahead and read 15 as it is, so they can
Yes.
see the word
Yeah.
license.
Yes.
Like, because so
We are
like
68 years old.
yeah, like we saying, this is government to government. Why don't we? And that is why we invited you, right?
Yes.
Come sit down. We identify an issue that may indicate that you owe us some money, or that some things are going on. But let's sit down and fix it, so that going forward,
Yes. You know.
the things can we can put things in the right perspective, right? We can
And
do
we
things the
worked.
right way. And we invited you, but then you came out from the blind side and bring out issues that will even at the end of the day kind of hold you down. Because look at 15, what it says right
And
here.
they have no authority over this issue. You bring stuff that you have no authority over.
Let me read it and you comment. Number 15. Number 15. To apply for, right?
Mhm.
Purchase, or by other means acquire, hold, sell, assign, lease, mortgage, or otherwise dispose of, and protect, and prolong, and renew, whether in the Republic of Liberia or elsewhere, any patents, patent rights, licenses,
Right.
protections, concessions, trademarks, and trade names, and use and turn to account and to manufacture under grant of license, and to experiment upon and test and improve or seek to improve any patents, inventions, or rights which the LBS may acquire or propose to acquire.
So you
And
see
you
that
want to tell us about
it's
license?
just a Pandora box they open, because it's right there. You got those keywords. We can sell,
Yep.
we can assign.
Yeah.
All right, and then you have licenses.
We can prolong.
You see,
Yeah.
we can do a whole lot of stuff
Whole
here.
lot of stuff. Yeah. You know. A
Okay.
whole host of stuff that you
We
can do.
and we
I can
haven't
prolong our license on the Dark Kingdom card.
right. We can prolong, right?
Yeah.
And so we, as an institution, a government institution, we feel that the best way forward is for us to sit together and fix everything as they should be,
Yes.
not try to circumvent the laws, the regulations, just by going on radio and trying to create chaos, basically.
And you know what? I know they really want to be on radio, but we own it.
Yeah.
We own 3.
Right.
They wish they could come down to explain to the Liberian people, but they're not coming.
No, of
Yeah.
course. Of course.
Not until they delist us. They're not coming.
Yeah.
We got television. And by the way, we'll be showing the UEFA, the Euro 2024
Euro
again
2024,
today.
yeah.
I don't know who's playing today.
But France is playing.
France is playing, yeah.
France is playing today.
And by the way, we'll be showing the Olympics.
Olympics, and the Olympic comes on the 26th of July.
And by the way, we're capable of sending our June over to the LTA and reporting from there right now.
I know, right? And I think that these are some of the threats. These are some of the things these guys see as threat. The moves we are making in it with the television now,
Because they
and
don't have the rights.
direction we want
Yes,
to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They are feeding threatening, and I really feel like it's not just them. There are a lot of hands under this, and but they've been, he's being used basically. But all in all, we want to say that whatever they came up with is false, is fallacious. Everything they said needs to be taken with a grain of salt. People
Yep.
should make sure to do their research and not just absorb, be susceptible to whatever they say out there. Liberia before and Liberia now is not the same.
Yeah.
People's eyes are open. People do research now. They don't just, take what you say. Before you would say, "Oh, Liberian man, just be the first to tell him the story." Nowadays,
no.
No.
Yeah,
When you
yeah.
tell us, the first question we ask, but why would this person even do this to you?
Right.
People begin to ask questions, why?
And people
And so-
started calling us and
Right.
asking us,
Yeah.
"Oh, so you're paying money to the..." No, as a matter of fact, Thomas and I this morning was discussing early this morning when we came to office. They owe us. If
Yeah.
there's anything to go back, they owe us
Yeah.
tons of money.
Right.
But we're being matured. We're being careful how we approach the issue. And like I said, I would like to say to the people listening to us out there, they went into the public glare.
Yeah.
And we had an obligation to respond to them in the public sphere. And that's what we've done.
Yeah.
Our next course of action, if they don't delist us, will be to contact, take our course of action to the president, who appointed both leadership, provide our evidence. And again, if they decide not to act responsibly, and we'll take the necessary course of action. As I explained to you, the powers given to me by the law, I will use it.
So listeners, and as Thomas Gore talked about research, so if you want to follow the act that created both institutions, just go to just Google it.
Yeah, Liberia Broadcasting System.
And then the LTA. You'll find that if you don't want to take our words literally, fine, that's fine. You can also do your fact finding.
Right.
Just get those and just oppose them, and you will see one saying one thing quite different. And LBS one is even more detailed.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Very, very detailed. 1956, we came into existence. You are not even 20 years old. We are over 50 years older than you. 50.
And you want to be the regulator of us.
Yeah. You want to ask us
instead
for
of us regulating, you, in fact, and other the media industry, basically, we're supposed to develop it. We're supposed to assign.
And we read
and
it.
Everything is there. We're supposed to assign,
TV and radio.
Sell licenses and stuff. But, again, we consider the whole thing as something that we all can sit down and discuss and then see the way forward.
We are from the same.
And like I said, it's been coming a long time. When they did the presentation, they talk about television and radio, and we smiled. And they were invited to Accra, Ghana, by the same telecommunications KNet giant and others. And they went there, they had a good time, and they called from there talking about how they want to bring television to the whole country. You are an authority for regulations.
Yeah, you are a regulator. You are not
power. But did we respond? In all of those instances, we did not take to the airwaves. But when we received multiple calls, hundreds of calls, that all the development you're doing to LBS, you ain't able to be in compliance. Why you're not paying? Come on. It took us,
of course, and then
and you are already part of the problem here because we should be making more money. We should have an improved, media institution. We should have a well-coordinated, news network, cable TV, and what have you.
Yes.
But you are here basically as a parasite to the system because you use our equipment, use our facility, our security, fuel, and all of that.
And then you say the people pay into the universal access fund. Let's not go into that.
Yeah, but it's better we handle it, the other way, which is the appropriate way, like we started, rather than being in the media and trying to haul and pull.
40%, 40% of our budget is sourced by ourselves. We generate our revenues for 40% of our budget. 60% comes from the government, and we appreciate the government a whole lot. We appreciate the leadership of His Excellency President Joseph Numa Boakai. And as a matter of fact, the Liberian people will see when we carry out our presentation on Wednesday of next week at the Executive Mansion. We will be stating what we met here, the problems we met, the solutions we offer, the challenges we have, and the roadmap to the future, which is bringing television to the entire country, making sure that radio is clearer than before. I can say to you, thanks to Brother Money Captain, the head of the LEC, you and I know we met a 250 kVA transformer here, and we're running a 2,000 kilowatt transmitter. When we have sitting in the box a 10,000 kilowatt transmitter that covers more space, that can even take us into Sierra Leone, Guinea, and La Cote d'Ivoire. But the 250 kVA transformer cannot operate that. We work along with the LEC, and the LEC decided to underwrite the cost of the 500 kVA generator. Not only that, they did the assessment, they're going to do the installation, and they're going to bury all of our cables and wires. And then we'll be able to launch our 10,000 kilowatt transmitter, and it's here and it's going to go into force. So we're not running after anyone. We don't intend anyone to put us in disrepute.
Right.
Unfortunately, this has happened. We call on the folks at LTA to immediately delist us. And I'm serious about what I'm saying. If they do not delist us, then we will list them on an undesirable list of individuals that should be using our facilities. But before we take that course of action, we'll make sure Mr. President is aware that their action is counterproductive to good governance, is counterproductive to the growth and development of our country, in particular, the telecommunications sector.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's enough food for thought for this morning, and we would like to thank you. Any parting comment, Tom?
For me, it's just short. Rather than feed or leash on us, and then cry, baby, when we call you to book, I think we should go the route that we initially initiated to get these things resolved amicably. And then we need to coexist in a mutual, environment, in a mutual way. We should all benefit from each other equally, and not one person trying to put the other down, in whatever means. But that being said, the law is the law.
Of course.
And, we will not back down. We will definitely go by the side of the law in this situation.
Well, we'd like to thank both of you, the Director General of the Liberia Broadcasting System, Honorable Eugene Foghorn. Welcome, and thank you for showing up.
Thank you, Hassan. And I hope we can get out there to collect more content.
And also the Deputy Director General of Administration, Thomas Gore, the hardworking man. I mean, this guy alone is 1 in 4. The guy is IT, public administration, account. I mean, the guy is just the whole 9 yards,
And the only thing he cannot do is collect content.
And that's what I can do.
Content.
You're good at that,
You do not only collect content, you distribute, you sell and resell, and you have the power. And when this whole thing, just before I leave, when this whole thing was happening, and I said, I want these guys to know. Because you call a press conference with all these journalists around with a small phone. I said, I want these guys to know that we got 3 radio stations, 1 television station. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. And I wanted to know we have all these gadgets.
Yeah, all over the country.
Including 7 substations, 19 correspondents with gadgets. I want these guys know that we have the LBS Charles Whale that is capable of looking at them in their offices, signing papers. Well, the sooner they get to realize that, I'm sure the better it will be for them. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much. This is an expanded edition of the Super Morning Show, and we'll be back next Friday. Here at the same time, same station. Meanwhile, join us on Monday at 6:30 in the morning with the Super Morning Show with Vafle Kamara. Until then, have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.